Hello, everybody. This is Doug Davison here with Doug's midweek sneaky sneak peek. So if you are happen to be floating about in the ether and you see this pop up on your feed, then you know that I'm about to sneak a peek at a few features that we have been working on and that our team's been working on. So this week I have a couple things. I've got one which is from Dominic and John Gregory on new vehicle rules, and updates to the rule sets for D&D 5th edition, specifically as a lead-in for Spelljammer, but also for some other, the older modules like Descent into Avernus. And then I also got some stuff that Joshua Utter has been working on with new dice for the Fantasy Grounds Unity engine. So I'll be playing around with that a little bit too. These obviously look, very much like the regular dice that we had before, but we have a few little tricks up our sleeve here. So we have some gold dice we can roll around, show off some of these bad boys here. They got a little bit of extra reflection there. And let's see, some dark gold here. Let's fling these guys around here. That looks pretty sharp. A metallic set that we'll probably have. Steel, this is what we're calling it. Trying to figure out the best name for that, but I think steel is appropriate. And then we've got some silver. This is a pitted silver, actually. It's got little pits in it. And we've got some platinum here, or maybe a bright silver, whatever you want to call it. Some rusted iron. There's a cool little kind of texture to it. Stained copper, these are really nice. And here you can even color those dice. So here you've got the green layer colored on top. So you can modify the pip color and the body texture color as well. So that'll be pretty cool. But that's not all. We also have some little effects here. So we've got some little, these are the lightning effects with an arcane color. Each one of these will have like the effect, and then we'll have a set of dice. So we've got those, and we've got some other kind of colors. I want to go through just the effects right now of those that we have. So we've got like a little spinning aura. You notice that as I pick them up and then set them down, it'll temporarily show you what that aura looks like there. So we've got that one. We've got rings, aura ring here. And then they will fade out. We've got some flames. So it trails little flames behind the dice, which is cool. Some arcane glow. A little bit more subtle, but still pretty cool. And of course, we got some force fields, because you got to be able to have some cool force fields. Let's see, water effects. So we got a combination of a new texture and a kind of stylized colored force field effect. We have like life, lightning, earth, fire, obviously, earth, fire, wind, all that sort of stuff. So lots of good stuff there. Let's see, that's an earth charge one. So this has like a bark kind of a texture plus the charging effect. And let's see, shadow is quite cool. I do like the shadow effect. And obviously they do fade back away so that it's not constantly going. You will note, though, that they are kind of glowing here a little bit. There's like a slight subtle glow that they have, which is going to kind of pulse a little bit to indicate that they've got some kind of cool effect. But there you go. You've got some sweet little stuff there. Let's see. And here's like what the aura would look like with this one is light. So. And we got a bunch of them here. So we're going to play around with some of these to make sure that they contain the right amount of effects. Josh Watma, our resident artist and resident expert on anything graphical, is going to also be working on some new custom faces for us with some cool little runes and some other kind of stuff that we'll put on these instead of just numeric faces. So that'll be quite cool. And then also I've got the combat tracker here, which has got some new features with some vehicles. So here I've got a couple things here that you might be interested in. I don't know what this thing is. Hammerhead ship may be a cool feature. I can't dive into that too much, but let's go ahead and just roll a little dice damage here. Well, let's attack the Yeti with that, or with the Bombard, and do some damage here. So yeah, lots of cool stuff here. You can also target and make attacks against weapons. So, sorry, against vehicles. So here you can jump to your actions, drop that across, and then damage specific sections. So here I damage the ballista, or I can damage cannon, or I can just damage overall. And then here it's got resistance because it's a vehicle. Vehicles have kind of like damage resistance. Used to be back in the day. There's like a threshold of damage that you have to do. We'll probably cover this in greater detail as we get closer to the release date. But this was a very quick, sneaky sneak peek, midweek sneaky sneak peek. So congratulations if you happen to jump in and catch this in time. Got any quick questions? I'll be hanging around for a little while before John realizes that I'm streaming and then yells at me. So feel free to ask away and we will go from there. Again, I'll cycle through a couple of these bad boys while we're talking. Change out some dice. Which one are your favorites so far? Cool. Thank you, Mr. DDT. Thanks for watching. Banach says, have you got a good way to punish dice that misbehave and roll badly? I'm not sure yet. The dice jail or the explode the dice to punish them is definitely a highly requested feature and one that I think we desperately need. So yeah, the Earth one has definitely got some cool stuff here. So the Earth one, I'll kind of pick it up here. You can kind of see it's got a bark kind of texture. Make it bigger here. Let's see, scale, UI. So Fantasy Grounds Academy says, is there a toggle to change the animation transparency? What do you mean, to make it more transparent for the animation? Not currently. They're going to be preset with kind of set animation and everything else in there is going to be kind of pre-baked in. The nice thing is if you have the dice and someone else doesn't have the dice, it will roll them and it will show up on their screens. So you will see their cool dice. And then, you'll obviously have there's going to be a picker. We haven't decided exactly what that's going to look like yet, where you can cycle through and pick your own dice. Right now, I'm using some chat commands that we have loaded in with the API of our dev version. Marunan says, will this feature be free? So we're looking at maybe doing like some sample packs, but we'll probably sell individual dice packs that will have these different kind of settings and options. And each one of the dice packs will have basically like a simple one or two different kind of effects that will go with it, and then a handful of, I think there are 10 different combinations of colors and so forth that will all be kind of baked in. Bruno Salvadio says, when will this be available? And that's a good question. It just depends on how quickly we can kind of finish implementing it. But we do have the basis of obviously the functionality working. The networking is working. We've been testing that this week. And the purchasing and the store hooks have been put in place. So that should be pretty cool. Martin Heim says, hey, thanks for the sneak peek. Will there be an option to only get the dice base color without the animated effects? Love the bases, but the animation might be a bit too distracting for me. Quite possibly. We could definitely spin up a group of these that are going to be just like a simple set. We basically use all of these same dice skins for each of the different effects with the different bundles. We're calling them dice bundles. So each of these dice bundles will have a different effect linked to them. If you don't want the effect, you'll be able to just use the basic dice pretty much. So we'll probably make that one free, and then the rest of them will probably be individual kind of purchases. And we may tweak this a bit too to make them so that they have some other effects. Here that has a little bit of particle effects you can see when it trailed as well. But not, yes. Watching the stream while drunk can be pretty cool. Fantasy Grounds Academy said, yeah, slider, fade in, out effect, maybe, possibly. We'll have to see what's easy to kind of implement. Most of these we're baking into prefab, so we'll have to see what's there. We will probably look to roll these out, which is kind of what we feel like are our best set for everybody initially, and then based off of feedback, we may end up implementing some additional features. Let's see this one. The shadow one is definitely cool. This is what you want your necromancers to be able to have here. Drop that on. That's what the big bad definitely needs to be having. Yes, Mr. DDT, the players can have a set, the DM can have a set. Each person will have their own set of dice that they can have active. So when you're flinging dice around and the party all has their own different dice, your druid's dice will look different than your fireball flinging sorcerer, and then will look different from your basic metal encased paladin that wants to smash people. Yeah, I can't show too much of the Spelljammer stuff yet because we've not been greenlit to show that off. So it limits me a little bit. I can show the vehicle stuff without actually, let's see, without diving into specifics. I think that should be fine to go. But we basically got the type, size, all that sort of stuff here. They have an armor class, hit points, and they have a damage threshold. That damage threshold and then the mishap threshold will kick in based off of specific dice rolls and damage rolls and that sort of stuff. So obviously the damage threshold, no damage will actually be applied to that until you exceed the damage threshold of the vehicle. So if you don't care about damage thresholds, then you just set that at 0 and it should be good to go. I think we're looking at, Heathen Cantina asked how many dice sets we're looking at. I think we're looking at least 6 sets, but Josh Watma is still working on some cool new bases for us, which we may have even more. So I don't know if we're going to release those all in one big blast in the very initial launch, or we're going to stagger them out at all or not. I'm not entirely sure yet. Mr. DDT says, does the damage threshold work just like the effects coding currently, or is it something new? I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same. I haven't had, this is basically my first day kind of playing around with it too. So basically it just, if you exceed that value, it'll kick in. Dominic has a number of things. Dominic always has about 4 or 5 things in the queue here, so I'm not sneak peeking that. But Dominic, you're not supposed to be on this chat yet. You'll probably just report back to John. So yeah, don't tell him you saw anything here. Oh, DM Greg wants to get a sweet dice roll. All right, let's throw some dice. Dice galore. Let's get some silver dice, some platinum dice, gold. Let's throw some gold around. Gold for everybody. Yes, Dominic is indeed dangerous. I'll click through them again here real quick in case you missed earlier on. Again, just kind of fling around some dice. Yeah, I think that'll add a whole new element for everybody. Really custom. You see here that one was 36, so I can. This is our testing. This is how we test these basically. So if I wanted like, let's look. Which one is silver? Is kill this here. So let's see. It's pitted silver. Let's go with like this shiny color here. So if I want to start with this shiny color here, which is number 6. Once you have the dice picker set up, you'll be able to pick the colors of these. You'll be able to say, okay, well, I want it to be, I don't know, blue or red dice maybe. So like FF0000, and then I don't know, you want to have some kind of a grayish, whitish kind of, I don't know. Let's do, and then that's 6. So there you go, like a grayish pip color. And these will be a little bit more shiny reflective than the built-in ones. But you could do that same thing with one of these ones like rusted iron, for instance. And you could do that one with like, what's a good RGB color for like an orange or something? Someone have any fresh off their hand, off their top of their memory here? So let's see. Already drawn a blank. So let's do, I don't know, like a blue color. Maybe, so we got R. And we'll do white. And we will do, what number is that? Already draw a blank. 6. 7. 6 maybe? Oops. Helps if you type it right. So there's that one. So let's do. There you go. So you can come up with some kind of crazy combinations of stuff. Oh, there you go. FF9. There you go. So let's try that. So we'll do a little FF 9353. There you go. Kind of orangey color. And we'll have the option to do lots more of these over time. So we'll probably have thematic releases with big products that drop, that sort of stuff. Mr. DDT says, yes, you should add a special effect if you crit on a 20. Yep, we could definitely do some stuff there. Bruno asked earlier, are there any plans to get sounds directly on FGU, music and sound effects? We've got some cool stuff that I'm not able to sneak peek yet because we have to move some hidden private stuff out of the way, like auth tokens and that sort of stuff. So we have a really super epic sneak peek that I might do maybe another day, maybe this week or maybe next week. So tune in for the next Doug's midweek sneak peek, and I will see if I can cover that. Super awesome. That's a tie-in with Sirenscape directly though. So if you're a Sirenscape fan, we don't have a non-Sirenscape version yet, but I think you'll be pretty interested to see what this looks like when we tie that all together. Cool. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm going to jump off of here before I expose too much more, but I thought you guys would like to see that. Thanks for hopping in, and have a great rest of the week. Take care, everybody.